There's a new me coming out, and I just have to live, and I wanna give. I'm completely positive. I think this time around I am gonna do it like you never knew it. Oh, I'll make it through. The time has come for me to break out of the shell. I have to shout that I am coming out. I'm coming out. I want the world to know.
Welcome to the show Never Too Late Ever, where we focus on making the next chapter of your life the very best chapter ever. I am your host, Lorraine Hoving, and I am thrilled that you are here today, especially today. This day will change your life, guaranteed. Open your heart, open your ears, and listen. You will find a gem, a treasure that you can apply to your life this very day. Today, I am absolutely thrilled to introduce you to my sister-in-law, Rita. Hi, Rita.
Hi, Lorraine.
Yay, this is going to be a good show. So what I want to do is tell you a little bit about Rita, and then we're going to dig deep into her story, and you are going to be absolutely captivated by her story. So here we go. When Rita began what became her public story, she was Rita Cretion, wife and business partner of Albert Cretion. Albert is my brother, who now resides in heaven, but Albert is my brother. She is a mother of 3 grown sons, Raymond, Dale, and Carl, and grandmother to many. Now her name is Rita Harter. She is retired, and she's widow of Albert and wife of Dale Harter. She is a first-time author. Her book has just come out. I'm so excited. She enjoys sharing her renewed appreciation of life's trials and miracles. So for all of you out there, we're going to dive into her story, which is that Rita survived 49 days in her van in the Nevada wilderness. So we'll get into that. Rita was encouraged by her friends, family, and others to share her story of survival. Her source of strength is her faith in God. Rita has shared her survival story through speaking engagements to audiences large and small, in churches and in halls. It is her sincere hope to share and inspire others to persevere through their own trials. Rita has just published a book called Mother's Day Miracle, the Rita Cretion story, Survival in the Nevada Wilderness. Welcome, Rita. We are so happy to have you here. And this is a question that people are going to ask out there. So this happened 9 years ago, and I know for a fact that you shared it in small and, like you said, large audiences, but it's taken you 9 years to write down your story. Can you tell us a little bit of why it took you so long, and then let us open the door on what it was like to be in a van for 49 days. I wouldn't say 49 years, 49 days.
Oh,
With,
9 years is long enough.
yeah.
Okay. Yes. Well, it took me so long because, first of all, I had to recover. I was quite ill, physically weak. I needed to emotionally heal too. This was quite a shock to me, to have my husband disappear one moment and never see him again. And to imagine what he was going through all those days I was there. And so it was quite a trauma. I was very happy to come home, of course. But once I came home, this healing process was pretty good. It was complicated in the sense that after 3 weeks of being out of the hospital, I had to plunge right back into work and take over our family business, because it was just Albert and I who ran the office, we had no other office people. My youngest son ran equipment, but he had nothing to do with office or skills or any such like that. But he did an awesome job taking over his father's equipment and looking after that. So besides doing that every day from 6:30 in the morning till 6:30 in the evening through my home office, thankfully, I could do this from my easy chair, notepad in hand, phone there, ready to take the calls, ready to answer the questions. And that was a miracle in itself because I had little to do with running the office. All I did was help Albert with the once a month billing and pass on calls to him if they came my way, but mostly they came to his phone. So there I was in a new situation. But God was good. He gave me strength each day to face it, and each day I gained confidence, and each day I felt ready to face my next day, and it was a real growing experience. So once I felt strong and able with that, it took a few years. I decided to just have more of a social life and accept these invitations to share my story through small groups, etc., women mostly to start with. And that also gave me new strength and courage to realize I could do this. I was normally a very shy, in the background person, and this helped me to expand my horizons and to feel more confident just as a person, to find out who am I, this person? Who am I really now that I don't have my husband, now that I don't have, all this comfortable life? It was comfortable. It was easy. And now I had to make my new way in life and believe, just like I had to believe out in the wilderness that I could do it. Each day it was a new experience. Each day it was, I can do this. With God's help, I can do this. And same with running my business and facing these new ventures that people were asking, will you come and speak and all that. So that was my initial, it took years. And then to start writing, it took me 4 years to actually start the writing process. After journaling my story personally to me through prayer journaling and talking to myself and how would I share this, and there it started to develop. And I had this wonderful lady help me to get started. So it took that long. I didn't know it would take so long, but it did. And so now it is the time, and I'm ready.
Yes. And everything in life has its timing. And what is really interesting, your book was published right at the beginning of the virus, right? Yes. So I think the timing is amazing. I finished the book actually on Mother's Day. It's called A Mother's Day Miracle. And the book was absolutely fascinating to me because, as you realize, I'm part of the family. So I lived through it. I lived through looking for Rita and Albert for are wondering what had happened to them, and then driving down to look for them. So you can imagine when I was reading it, I was starting to go, oh, these are the pieces of the puzzle that fit together. So tell us a little bit of the story of how you got into the van and got stuck way out in the wilderness. I'm sure people are hungry to know what happened to get you up there and get you stuck for 49 days. And it was in March, wasn't it?
Yes, March 19th, we left town. And that late in the same evening, we were stuck in the mud. So we were traveling the highways, and we were all just doing fine. And we had an extra day. So Albert loves to explore a little. So he thought, well, let's just go straight down Highway 51 and just take an extra day so that we can rendezvous and see what this wonderful landscape looks like, before we go to the equipment show, which he knew I would be not as fascinated with. And so we went down, and as we got down into more remote roads, they were still very drivable and well used. We decided that we just needed to find jackpot now. But what we didn't realize was that it was we had already passed the turnoff. It wasn't obvious to us because we didn't know the area at all. And so there we went and we got into a more remote road as we were looking for a turnoff. So foolishness, of course, we used our new GPS, which we'd only used in the city prior to that for a few times. And it gave us wrong instructions, and therefore we got really tangled up and mixed up in these little, you might say, ATV type roads, and it was soon obvious that this was not good. And in the process of trying to find a way to turn around, we got stuck in the mud. There was a little low point in the road where water had settled, and dark by then, we could not see the mud, and it was too late.
Right.
We were exhausted. We were, frantic and upset and all this. And we had hardly eaten much all day. And we were hungry and tired and wondered what was going to become of us.
Right. And so that's the beginning of the story. Now, where I broke down and cried a bit was when, so it was determined that Albert was going to walk out. After a try with the two of you, and you had some knee problems. So it was determined that Albert was going to walk out. And I encourage everybody to get this book because I wept when Rita was saying goodbye to Albert and watching him out of the front window, walking up. And oh, see, now I'm brought to tears again. But anyways, seeing him go, and actually he turned around and waved one more time. And did he blow a kiss to you? I think you said.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So that was the last time she saw Albert, and so then became this journey where you were actually in the van. That was your home for 49 days. Tell us a little bit about what did every day look like for you in a van, and what in the world, how did you have hope? Because I've always said this, Rita, I would have given up at some point when I realized that possibly my husband wasn't coming back. What in the world got you to hang on? Everybody wants to know, because there are people in our audience that are going through times that are so trying. Maybe you're going through a tragic divorce, or you've lost someone you love, and you need that hope. Rita, tell us, what got you to stick it out for 49 days?
Well, it was definitely a battle of hope each day. That was the main thing. That's why anyone can relate to the story, because we all have that sometime in our life where it seems impossible. So every night I went to sleep for let's say the first week was the most dramatic, because I was scared. I wasn't used to camping or anything. Being out in the bush was not my thing. And
okay,
I was alone.
I want our audience to hear this. Okay, it's not that Rita was a camper, a hiker, knew the wilderness well. So she had to find something. So her first week, she was much more afraid and terrified. And I can't imagine the being terrified in the night. But that's what I want you to hear. So what in the world? How did you pull so deep? Tell us about that.
Well, I realized that if I was going to survive even 1 or 2 more days, I needed to get with the program and quit being so fearful and quit being so panicky. And how can I do this? And I prayed earnestly to God, and I read my Bible. I was so happy I had my Bible. That was my consoling time, and I read for hours, and as the days went by, I was starting to feel more at peace, realizing, I'm still alive today, and the next day, and the next day. How can this be? Why am I still alive? I don't have any food. And, my little tiny bag of nuts was only like 1 cup full by the time Al left, and we had snacked already on it. And I ate a couple nibbles a day just so that I could say I had my meal until it was gone, and it didn't take long. And so with okay,